All right, folks. Today I'm here with a friend and a colleague and somebody who's taught me a lot, and Mr. Travis Tom. Travis, I know you have a bunch of companies and a bunch of cool stuff that you're doing. Introduce yourself.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you. So I'm a Facebook marketing strategist. I'm a digital marketing strategist, I guess, in general. We run a advertising agency. We run multi-channel campaigns on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Google. I myself started off as a real estate agent when I was about 18 years old in the year 2000. So went through a couple different recessions, built three different real estate companies, grew those, and had a great fun career there. Fell in with marketing, and then got involved in coaching and training, consulting, and then running large scale campaigns on a national scale and hyperlocal campaigns. And then I've built a couple of different softwares that are Facebook marketing softwares for agents. And I sit as an advisor on the advisory board at Facebook headquarters for the real estate vertical. It's been a lot of fun ever since. And then working with beautiful people like you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yes, good. Dude, so how often are those, just to go into a selfish question, how often are there meetings over at Facebook? Often or twice a year?
It's only a couple of times a year. There's side conversations typically through email and messenger where we're trying to get a quick message across or vice versa. But the actual more formal kind of meetings typically take place about, the past couple of years has been virtual because their workforce, 50% of the workforce went virtual. So
50% of the world went virtual, Trav.
Virtual, right. Yeah, I do miss going to Facebook headquarters because they had this cafeteria where you could get really good bacon, and
which is important.
Which is important. So
yeah.
Anyway, I like the bacon. It was really nice.
Good.
Campus was okay. Yeah.
Yeah, good. I think we may have been talking about this with our listeners and viewers. Like, what's happening with the special ad category? Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of different changes over the past couple of years, and the special ad category was first kicked in when HUD sued Facebook for discriminatory practices, right? And they put this kind of blanket lockdown where there's these guardrails that are set up where you can only choose specific type of things, right? In age range and targeting. And there's about 1,500 different targeting interests that were removed. But over time, they allowed us as marketers to create special ad audiences. And the special ad audiences were basically lookalike audiences. So lookalike audiences, right? That was the opportunity to take an original seed list audience. And that seed list audience was something that was a list of, let's say, favorite customers or clients, or could be, a list of homeowners. And you wanted to find other homeowners that are very similar. The lookalike audience would basically find around 2,000 unique data points to find a kind of psychographic profile of all of those individuals. And it would then grow that list of maybe, let's say, 3,000 or 4,000 people into maybe 1.5 million or 2 million people. And then you would, whittle down that bigger audience down to a geographic size of where you're targeting. Sure. So you had more people, but that lookalike audience went away, and they replaced it with a special ad audience, which sounds a little confusing because a special ad audience is underneath the special audience category for which you kind of confuse on the same of what's what. Well, the special ad audience is a lookalike audience, except it only had around 600 data points instead of 2,000. So it was a watered down version of a lookalike audience, and you weren't able to get as much data, and they wouldn't really perform as well. You would have to do a lot of audience stacking, meaning custom audience plus special ad audience plus more custom audiences to really grow that, right? And the reason why special ad audiences have been used and become more popular is because Facebook's algorithm shifted over the past 2 years, where they said, hey, even though we've restricted some of this targeting, we've changed the algorithm to compensate for that in a way where you have to have a bigger audience. So instead of having 100,000 people in your audience like you had 4 or 5 years ago, today you really want to have more like 500,000, right, or 600,000,
Whoa.
up to 1 million people in that audience, because the more audience members, the more data Facebook has to make better, smarter decisions and move faster.
But that includes the geography too?
That sometimes does include, yeah, the geography. So, we're of a 15-mile radius minimum, and that helped to build more of a larger audience size with more data. But you typically then want to take off anything that would be restricting it, which would be adding a lot of interests right in there,
Sure.
which then,
Which is how we used to, like, how we would decide somebody was into buying or selling.
exactly right,
Right.
because we used to drill down and say, I'm going to target women that drive these kind of cars, that have platinum
Yes.
credit cards, right, with a net worth of this, that live in a home that's 2,300 square feet and above, with equity of 500,000, right, an income of 200,000 plus in
Yeah.
this specific zip code. And that all went away, but it also, even when we still had it for a little bit there, the actual accuracy of that was becoming too narrow focused to where it really wasn't accurate. And basically we get confused
Wow.
because you're targeting with a scope instead of going broad, and we don't, our algorithms change. We can't target people like that anymore. So it became restricted in a way where it would be a much higher ad cost, almost no leads, very little engagement, very little reach. So everything really moved to more broad, bigger audiences, bigger data. And the special ad audience, the lookalike audience for the real estate category, for the housing category, became popular, but now that's being taken away. So
Yes,
on
now it's being
October,
taken away.
they give it and they take it. And so in October, basically, that's being depreciated. So they're taking that away off the platform. And I've got mixed feelings about it. It was a good thing to have, but audience expansion, that's just a one-click tool. It's been renamed, I think, some things to more like smart automation, where it can build that audience.
Yeah.
So that's going away. But the caveat to that, the way to do it is to leverage first-party data and being able to then run video campaigns, running your content, which is first-party data, right? Data that's on Facebook, that's on Instagram, that's attached to your account, to your business page, and putting it out. And that is going to be content that you're publishing to bigger, broader audiences with very little to no targeting in there. And people that engage with that, then you create custom audiences out of that, right? And you keep growing that. So you have one campaign that's consistently being sent to bigger, broader audiences. And then another campaign where you're creating custom audiences of those that engage, if they watch a video, to 25%, or if they've
25% is that the bare minimum that you're working with?
Yeah, that used to be the standard. It was 50% for a while, and that was like 2020, 2021. We went from 50% to 25%. But here's the issue now, which is that TikTok has skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And has, there's 42 million users in the US on TikTok that are aged 35 and up, right? Which is like
I'm one.
target, and you're one, right? Yeah, you're crushing it on there. And so the issue with that is that during the pandemic, everyone got really used to quick videos, 15-second videos, 30-second videos, and a massive amount of content, right? We're swiping through
Massive, dude.
content. Well, it trained our brains to be more of a goldfish, right? To where we go, like, we give it the 2-second test.
Yes.
And we're like, I don't want to watch that. It's a waste of my time. And here's the funny thing is with the millennial pause. So the millennial pause, probably also the Gen X pause, is
Wait, are we Gen X?
I'm a geriatric millennial, and I think
You're
that you're
what, 42?
probably no. I'm 40. I'm 40.
Oh, I thought you were older. Okay, good for you.
It's
Maybe
my
because I've known you for a
early
long
20s
time.
were rough. My early 20s were rough. You don't need to
Yeah.
get so, but the millennial pause or the Gen X pause
Okay.
is
I think I'm Gen
where
X.
you're Gen X.
Okay.
So you've probably seen this where someone starts a video and there's like a 1.5 second pause where they kind of like check to make sure that they're like, oh, okay, I look good on camera, or they're gonna like they take a deep breath to say something, right? In that pause right there, people swipe past that. They kill off that video. They're like, I'm not gonna watch that. That person wasted my time. They get to the next video where someone says, are you interested in the top 3 things you should be doing? Blah, 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 right? It's quick, it's fast, it moves fast. So we got really used to basically be indoctrinated in a way to watch a video in a certain way where we give it like the 2 second test to see, is this worth my time? Well,
Hook.
the hook, right? The pull you in. But then we go onto Facebook and we have David talking about the new community garden that's being built, and he's going to say, hey, I want to tell you guys about the new update in Phoenix and about the market and what's good. And people are like, that is so boring to me, and I don't want that.
No. Oh, I just lost you.
Why pass that? So with custom audiences, right, and running that top of funnel kind of video, the 25% mark of like trying to build a custom audience of people that watch 25% of a video, that has been whittled down significantly. So what I've seen the past year, which has been really surprising, is on average, most people watch about 4.5 seconds of a video, right? Almost around 90% of video traffic that's watching a video is only going to watch like 4.5 seconds. You may have a really good 38-second video, but if the hook in the beginning is not pulling it in, it's difficult. So it's really difficult to develop custom audiences off of top of funnel videos right now because everyone has adopted the video, and everyone said, marketers like me, right? You need to be doing video. You need to be doing video. So everyone's doing video, Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, everyone's do video. So it became saturated as an actual asset. And we've been trained to watch things differently. So now top of funnel typically needs to be static ads or video ad motion graphics that are static. That basically is a video that looks static. So you can build custom audiences off of people that watch or engage with top of funnel, and then retargeting is what you should be really heavy on. Not that you shouldn't be
Yeah.
doing video up front, but just taper your expectations on how you're going to build custom audiences, because people aren't watching as many videos as deep and as long as they used to.
Yeah, and I want to tell all the viewers and listeners, like, you think you have a good hook, your hook probably sucks.
Yeah, yeah,
Right? I mean,
yep.
I write like a hook every day, and my hook probably sucks like 99% of the time. People just don't have the attention span. Like, here's the thing,
Yeah.
and I know because I put out a bunch of content and I love marketing shit. So is um like any long form ads that I ran, done, all
Yeah.
turned off. Right? Like just everything that I remarket with now is just it looks like a TikTok, but it's on Facebook or Instagram. It's like a reel ad, or it's like a Facebook Reels ad.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the only opportunity. Like, don't even post that. We publish long form 2 minimum every week, and I don't. When I put them on Facebook, it gets one fucking like, and
Yeah.
it's you or something, right? It's like
Right.
so so yeah. I think that maybe like the thing that we should really talk about, being that Facebook has got so weird, is these other opportunities, right? So
Right.
like agents now, Facebook is doing whatever, it's getting complicated, it's getting more expensive, right?
Yeah.
Who are we competing with when we run like a house list? Every other agent in town?
Pretty much, you know. I mean, but here's the thing: is we're entering into, you know, we're kind of teetering into recession, right, in and out of it, and this is typically where ad spend, it goes on sale to some
Okay,
degree.
great.
So, but you have other, because you have other folks, your competition, that's pulling out and saying, "Hey, you know, I'm not gonna, I don't have the ad spend for that, or I'm not seeing results." And this is the majority of most people in real estate, sadly, right? Which is that they
They go
aren't
in and out.
consistent. Yeah, they're not playing the long game. They're looking for the silver bullet. They're not consistent enough, and we're all kind of guilty of that.
Oh,
Uh,
totally.
right, where we want to see some results right away because we're thinking, you know, in 30-day increments, right? We're trying to focus on like, hey, I need to get something in escrow today because, you know, I got to feed and put money on the table, on the first of the month. So a lot of folks aren't playing that game, and they're pulling out and they're pulling away some of their ad spend. But then you have people that have been in the market longer, right? So people like you and a lot of my other clients who've been in the game and have been doing this for a long time, they say this is where market share is being taken over. And I need to, one, either increase my ad spend because it's on sale, I can get in front of a lot more people for the same price or just a tad bit more, and diversify and be on multi-channel. So I want to be on Facebook, I want to be on TikTok, right? I want to, have more reels that are going out on Instagram. So there's of course two schools of thought, right? If you can't afford it, totally understand, right? There's other ways to market yourself. If you
Well,
want
here's the
to,
thing: is this is what I've been telling people too, because I was thinking about this. People say, "Well, I can't afford to do marketing." I say, "Bro, just start with fucking being consistent with posting.
right,
Start
everyone
there.
talking, yeah,
It's free. Like,
yeah,
don't say anything until you post every single day." Like, I
right,
have probably 50, 60 ad campaigns going on right now. I don't know. I have a ton, right? Like between
a lot,
remarketing, the stuff that you and I do, the stuff that I like to geek out on. And I still post every day because that's where the value is too, right? So anyhow, it's been
no,
pissing me off. People
absolutely,
say that they want leads, they want leads. I'm all great. Just post every day first.
right, right. And it doesn't always have to be about real estate, right? It
No,
can,
yeah,
it can,
just do it
you
every
know,
day.
just do it every day. And it's funny. I've been testing a lot of my organic posts lately, and my video posts, engagement has gone down. My
Wait, long form or short form?
I did short form, so like a minute and 25 seconds, kind of short form. It's just kind of,
Yeah,
kind of down the
no,
road,
dude.
right?
Under 30 seconds. Right.
But yeah, that's like, and for me, that's so hard, right? To get, I tell clients like, oh, it needs to be 15 seconds, and I try and do that. I'm like, oh man, that was 3 minutes of me just rattling off. It's hard. It's really hard to whittle it down. But I've then tested where I'm doing just a post where it's just text, no photo,
Just copy, yes.
just copy, and that has gotten a huge engagement. And then I've done where it's just single photo, and then maybe like longer, not longer form, but like mid form,
Sure.
copy, and that's gotten a little bit more engagement, but not as much as just the plain text with no image.
Really? So
So
I guess I haven't done just plain text in a while.
try it, try
Fascinating.
it. Yeah, it is fascinating. Right now because there's the shift in the algorithm for organic content, and on your business page, organically it really only reaches about 3 to 4% of your audience,
Yeah,
right?
it's worthless.
It's
Everyone,
worth it.
it's
Yeah,
worthless.
yeah. I mean, still post on there, but then put money behind it, right?
Yes.
To get it out there.
It's worthless, everybody. No one who sees what you post on there. Don't try and say that, oh, well, I have a business page. I don't need to post about real estate on my personal page. Yes, you do. Nobody sees it. When will
Yeah.
people get it through their head, Travis? How long have we been saying that for? Wait it.
Well, you know what? You know what it does do. Actually, it does help your ad account, because
Okay.
Facebook has an internal quality score where they'll look at your business page, the posts on there, and the consistency of those posts. And that does have a connection to then your actual ad account that you're running ads from. So there's your ads will perform a little bit better, actually, and reach the audience that's intended for it. So the two speak together to some degree. So there is a benefit when you're running ads to post on your business
Okay.
page.
Did I lose you? Did I lose you? Think we lost Travis. We'll cut this part out. We'll cut that part out. Okay. Are you back?
I'm back. I'm
Okay,
back.
good.
Yeah, my internet took a break.
Yeah. We can just start. We can just start. We'll just do a cut and start over again. So, Travis, tell me about like TikTok and these other platforms and what's going on over there. So, for our listeners, I've been working with Travis's agency for a few years now. Love it. Wouldn't have been a client for a couple of years if I didn't love it. Really smart. And we've been doing TikTok ads. And I want to talk about it because we were doing it for recruiting.
Yeah.
And it ended up being more like a reach thing, right?
Right.
Was that a conversion campaign?
It was, so we had, your TikTok ads were a combination of brand awareness, retargeting, and then some of it was conversion. And TikTok hasn't evolved just yet, I believe, to really be able to be a platform where people are going off and then ending up on someone else's website just yet. I mean, it's very similar to Facebook when Facebook had just started, right, in the college days, where it was kind of university to university, and that's how they were growing. Is that people really weren't moving off of the platform just yet, and that's where we'll see it start to evolve from lead generation to people then converting on websites. What we're seeing right now at TikTok is that it's an amazing brand builder where you're building a deeper connection with audiences, essentially. And so you're building this brand identity, this personal brand. It's authentic. It's definitely a little more unpolished than something like Instagram, where Instagram, I believe, in some instances, Instagram evolved as a whole to be something that was unobtainable and was almost, in a way, from a mental health standpoint, kind of damaging. When people said, I see people, jumping on a private jet, they're flying to some exotic island, some model in Greece, with her flowing dress. And that's not real life, right? Sometimes it can be, right, for maybe a weekend or a couple of weekends out of the year, but most of the time it's not. And so you're looking through a heavily filtered lens.
Yeah,
And
fascinating.
A lot of the audience, right, when the pandemic happened, were all on TikTok, because TikTok was a bit more wake up with your messy hair, I'm going to do a quick video and just get a message out there. And it really wasn't polished in a way, and it's video in the short form, so it was relatable. There was ways to really interact with an audience and be able to see yourself in either the person creating the content, where there wasn't really necessarily influencers, there's creators. And if you're creating videos,
but
right,
now there's influencers on there. Let's be honest, it's full of influencers, right?
It's full of influencers, but it's leveled the playing field, because here's where I see that you can have maybe 500 followers or maybe even less, and be a brilliant creator. And this is where a lot of brands and agencies like ours are actually hiring what you call UGC, user generated content creators, where you have someone that's really good on video and they do have a really big following. We're not focused on that. We're focused on people that can pump out really good videos, and those videos, they're going to do it for other brands. So for instance, I might do it for one of our clients, right? And it's like, hey, you want to check out this, software that does X, Y, and Z and cuts, this much of your time. That's something I could create for them, and they run that as an ad, right? And that's me as a creator. And that has more power sometimes than an influencer, where an influencer is doing, videos for their base.
Affiliates,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
So it's
fascinating.
the rise of content creators. Yeah.
It's really fascinating.
Here's another fact that's really interesting about TikTok, which is that people spend 25 hours a month on TikTok versus Facebook, which is around I think 16 hours a month, and Instagram, which is around 12 hours a month. Now, 40% of the user base in the United States on TikTok makes over $100,000 a year. So when someone says it's only a kids dancing app,
Yeah.
right? You got to look at the numbers there. 42 million people in the US are above the age of 35 on TikTok, and over 100, well, 40% of those folks are making over 100,000 a year. So that's an ideal audience that is going to buy or sell in the near future. And if I'm not focused for our clients. I'm not focused on follower count. It's more of, can you create enough videos that tell your story and that provide value and education? And that's going to bridge that gap and be able to have a stronger bond and connection with the audience. And then at some point in time, as the platform evolves, you might turn it into lead generation. But it's going to be a pretty strong organic type of approach for a while. And right now, as far as it's like your kind of campaigns, it cost us around $3 to get in front of 1,000 people, right? So it cost CPM, right? So cost per 1,000 impressions. So we're looking at $3 to get in front of almost around a little over 1,000 people on TikTok. On Facebook, we're looking around $25 to $35 to get in front of 1,000 people, right? So right now is this really kind of precious time, I would say, for the next year and a half, maybe even 2 years, where we can reach an enormous amount of people for very little. And this is that period of time where you're laying the foundation and you're building the brand. This is like Gary V, Instagram, 2008, right? That's kind of, the early stages.
So, yeah, we were doing a recruiting campaign. I don't believe we ever did any consumer facing campaign. And so,
Right.
really not lead gen. So, would TikTok, would TikTok's advertising on TikTok, you think the main purpose from a realtor's perspective, our team leader's perspective, is it to remarket to a custom list? Is that the strategy there? Get those
Absolutely.
cheap, get the cheap video views and just keep the brand right in front of people without much
Right.
conversion, or click to learn more in case they do want to hit something?
Yeah, well, I would say all three. So brand awareness, right, to your local market, because there's probably not a lot of agents, right, or team leaders or real estate companies in general that are marketing in your market area, right? If we look at the average age demographic, then those that are technology savvy and then those that are actually doing video content, probably not a lot. And if you are, or you can lean forward into that space, you're going to be able to then really dominate that part of that market in TikTok in your local area. That's one component. The other one is then retargeting your database, right? Which is, getting in front of all of those individuals, because if they're on Facebook, or if you generally leads on Google, whatever it might be, Zillow, Realtor.com, they're going to be on TikTok, right? Odds are they're going to be on TikTok, and they're spending a tremendous amount of time there. So if we can retarget them there and really build what this, kind of frequency illusion, which is that you're everywhere,
Yeah.
that frequency builds that familiarity, and that familiarity builds that trust. So your other, type of conversion process of sending out texts and emails and other retargeting ads on different platforms, whatever it might be, ISAs, making phone calls, you're warming up this audience, right, for a warmer conversion, because by the
Yeah.
time they jump on a call or answer the text or phone, whatever
They
it might
know who you
be,
are.
they know who you are, and they know you what you do and what you're about. So it's an easier sell. And again, it's playing that long game to really indoctrinate them and pre-frame in their mind that you are the expert and authority figure, or that your brokerage and team is the expert and authority figure by the time that they actually hit that moment, that decision cycle where they say, now is the time. So you want to make sure that you have enough digital touch points out there that can make that conversion. It used to be, what I think 7 years ago, it was about 12 touch points that it took to get a prospect to convert. And now
Yeah.
it's 20, 22 to 25 touch points. And so how many touch points can you make on different platforms, and what does that cost? Well, on TikTok, it's very low cost to make those 22 touch points. It just is about expanding that time frame, right? How long can you do it for?
And when you remarket these lists, and it sounds like TikTok, especially, it's not much, couple bucks a day, right?
Well, with TikTok, it's different than Facebook in a way, which is really interesting. That Facebook you can spend $1 a day or five
Yeah.
dollars a day,
I have a
right?
bunch of campaigns at $1 a day for like bottom funnel leads. Like it's super.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for like an engagement objective, that's a really good kind of budget to be able to test and see how many people it reaches. But with TikTok, it's $20 a day, bare minimum.
Okay.
So $20, yeah, $20 a day you got to be spending on there. And so your lists are typically going to be bigger. Your audiences are going to be bigger. You're going to be want to be running multiple different campaigns. That $20 doesn't always have to basically go to one single ad, right? We can do different things there with different ad groups, but $20 a day is the budget.
So one campaign, different ad sets and different ads, right? So,
Right.
one
Right.
same ad set and different ads is what you would do.
Exactly. Yeah. In different ways to structure it. So it's evolving. Lead generation will get there, and TikTok has a lot of really unique data. And I know there's controversy around who owns TikTok and data
Yeah,
center,
the
right?
communists, China, dude, they're spying on us. I read it on the internet.
Yeah, exactly. It's on the internet, and so God forbid you do anything with TikTok. It's those that are waiting until their friends join and they start having success on it. We got to look at the evolution and pattern of every social media platform, right? Which is it always starts off with the younger generation, Facebook, right?
Always.
And it almost started as basically a dating app in a way in college,
Yes.
and then it grew. Instagram, it was just for young kids that had cameras on their phones, right? And they wanted cool filters, right? It was like, oh, that's millennials and Gen Z,
Yes.
never.
No.
And now look at
Yes.
it, right? So, in the average growing age on Facebook is women 55 years old and up. That's one of the fastest growing demographics. So it ages up over time. TikTok started in very similar fashion, but it's aging up fast, and it's reached over 1 billion users in a very short amount of time.
You're
Where Instagram,
convinced, Travis. You're all in, dude. I can tell.
I'm all in because I see the wins, and I know where it's going, because it's going to level out. Trust me, it's going to have its trials and
Absolutely.
tribulations, right? It's
Yes.
going to level out, but it's about getting in early and being an early adopter and early advertiser to where you can lay that groundwork really easy. Because I remember the days where you would get 10 cents a click on Facebook.
Sure.
And those days are long gone. So getting in something where you can make a bigger presence, a bigger impact before your competition can, especially on the real estate vertical, all day, every day, right? You just pull that lever.
And I don't think it's about pulling out of Facebook and Instagram. I think it's about adding this to
Yeah.
the campaign. And it's not like talking about touch points. Yes, we fucking have every single one. ISA is texting, ISA is calling, multiple email campaigns a week, Facebook. We're not doing anything with the consumers on TikTok. It's been my other audiences that we're trying to work with, which is interesting. Which is interesting. And like, I love having you guys to work with as an agency. I also love looking in there so I can try to get a feeling before I give some kind of instruction to an agency or do an ad. So I want to check it out over the weekend because we've actually talked about it. Like the ads manager is not that hard or not that
No.
different. That's what I meant
It's
to
not,
say.
yeah, it's very, very similar to the same kind of UI UX structure as Facebook.
Yeah, I'm gonna go there, hit some buttons and see if I can do anything, and then just call you guys to fix it. Right? Just like, oh, good.
I trust the
So
account.
yes,
Yeah.
so which just happened to us? All of our ads got rejected, and in Facebook, I sent you guys a message, but we figured it out.
Yeah.
All the ads from an account got the account got frozen. It was so crazy. On like a Friday night. Um,
It it's happening. So the past 5 weeks now with Facebook, it's been there's a huge sweep essentially that Facebook has kind of cranked up their filter level to like 12, right? Beyond the usual 10, where it's really looking at every account and every minor infraction and treating it like a major infraction. And it's algorithmically looking for these faults. So Facebook has, I was in a meeting with Facebook last week and they admitted that there's some things that have gone a little haywire.
oh
Um,
wow.
to the point where it's been shutting down thousands and thousands of business pages that have been crystal clean. There's no real violations, nothing really harmful or big. So one of the things they've looked at is two-factor authentication. So they rolled this out last year, but now they're looking at it as an actual policy violation. Is if you don't have your personal Facebook login for your personal Facebook account set up as
That's what it was
two-factor
for us,
authentication
dude. That's what it was
and
for us.
your business page. So you got to have both. You got to both set up because if they look at that, and again, this is algorithmically, it's basically spiders that are going around and they find it and they say,
Yeah.
oh, this is a security risk because what happened is a lot of people during the period of the pandemic, a lot of people got hacked where they would get into your personal, they basically target people that had a ad manager account. They'd go and they'd get access somehow, and then they would hijack your account, kick you out, and then they would use your credit card and file, and they would then set up a shop and sell handbags that didn't exist, right? And they would run $50,000 worth of ads in a week, and basically Facebook couldn't keep up with the ad spend. These people would make all these sales, and then the account would get basically banned. You'd get kicked out. They'd get kicked out. Facebook would be left with the $50,000 bill. And this happened on a lot of accounts. It
Oh
happened on,
wow.
yeah, yeah.
Fascinating.
We had to work with Facebook to get one of our clients, who um, he got someone hacked into his personal account, which got into the ad manager account, and then they started to try to get access to all of our other accounts. Thankfully, all of our other accounts had been shut down by us, not shut down, but they had two-factor
Locked up.
authentication, so
Yeah.
they couldn't access it. But with his
Wow.
account,
Wow.
they spent, I think it was $37,000, and so we had to work with Facebook for about 6 months to get that money back to our client, get his account back up and running. So it cost them, I think, millions of dollars. And
Oh,
now
no doubt. Yeah.
yeah. So now they know, they go, hey, if you don't have that, we're shutting your account down. But if that happens to anyone that's listening or watching, um, one, there's a couple of different things you should do. First, set up two-factor authentication on your personal account.
Yes.
Right
Like now.
now, if you have any ads that have been rejected in the past year, go and delete those. Don't even leave them as a draft or something that's not running. Go and delete.
Oh,
Take those off because that can still be a flag for them.
I
And
have a
then
shit ton of those.
we got to audit those and delete anything that
Okay.
was rejected, because that can be seen as you potentially trying to run that and circumvent policy. Facebook, it doesn't like that. They're really sensitive right now. So I would just do some house cleaning on your ad accounts. Make sure that you're not using the word "you" in any of your ad copy, because that's back. That was a big thing in 2010 through 2012. Is they're sensitive on some of the language that's directed towards people on a personal level. You being one of them, which the word "you" is such a significant word in ad copy. So
And hooks, yes.
it hooks. It's
Have you
counterintuitive.
ever, do you, would you?
Yeah, right. So,
Damn, every one of my hooks has the word you in it.
well, no, for video, you're fine. For video, you're fine. Ad
Okay.
copy,
Ad copy.
no. Ad copy, no. So, just make sure that you do some house cleaning of things that you feel that might not be up to par. Get those sorted out.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
dude, good stuff. If people want more information, want to hire you, want to see some of your some of your other products. You guys have that, what's it called, walled garden too, right? Which does ads
Yes.
for people.
Yes, so Walled Garden, which is our Facebook marketing platform, that in 30 seconds or less, it launches a Facebook ad for your listings, done for you. Ad copy is done, imagery is done, targeting is done, Facebook lead ad is done, and it builds a single property website instantly. So it's a very powerful machine that does it.
Yeah,
So that's
sounds like
Walled
it.
Garden. Oh, I love it. I love it. I wish I had it when I was in real estate, when I was in my early 20s, because we had to build single property WordPress sites because we couldn't find any vendors that knew
Drag
exactly.
and drop or HTML?
No, it was HTML and CSS, and we had developers and designers in Ukraine actually, and then we would then have templates, and then we had an assistant that would upload the photos, get the photos from the photographer, right, and then write website copy. So that took like 2 days to build a single property website,
Oh, I
and
bet.
then we would build a Facebook ad, and that was late 2006 2007 when the ad manager came out. So we would then have to do that. It was a nightmare to it was basically a 3-day process, to build that. And I wanted something that would fast track things. And so I saw a lot of people struggling building Facebook ads. I was like, you know what, let's build this. It's simple. And it just does it for them in less than 30 seconds. So that's Walled Garden. But if you want an agency that's going to run ads on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Google, YouTube, and we have video editing, we've got creative copywriters, we've got
Yes.
strategists, we've
Full
got
service.
that is Elevated REM, so elevatedrem.com. And we love working in the real estate vertical. That's what we specialize in.
One last question. What percentage of clients aren't in real estate?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say going through the
Or
watch.
mortgage too. Mortgage is included.
Yes, we do mortgage, title, brokerages, and so I would say that out of that, probably there's about 5% that
That's
aren't,
fun.
and those 5% are real estate tech prop companies. So CRMs.
So the answer is zero. Zero.
The answer is zero. Well, no. Oh, I guess yeah, it's true. Most of them are all in the real estate vertical. There's a handful that are not in the real estate.
Any local businesses in New Mexico there? Any like local
No,
mom?
no. I try not to do anything here. Oh no, but no, actually no. That's a lie. We did do one, and it was for a nonprofit where children that were aging out of foster care, they needed volunteers to help.
Noble reason, for sure.
Yeah, work them through the court systems. And so we ran a volunteer campaign. We generated 300 volunteers for foster children that were aging out to help them through the court systems. So
dude,
that was
good. That's a good answer for my question. Here we are doing good work. Good.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
we will end on that high positive note from Travis. Travis, thank you. I learned a lot. I was reminded of a lot of stuff. You always bring it ever since I first reached out to you back in the day. So I appreciate you. And viewers and listeners, we'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks, Suneet. Thank you, everyone.